Okay, so what happened this week with my characters? Well, things got spicy. Okay, we're talking about book 2, not book 3. So in book 2, I finally finished that spicy scene. Okay, now to give you guys the picture of it all, my FMC is scared of thunderstorms. There's a backstory to that. I haven't explored it in detail yet, but she has mentioned it. But I probably should add a part in there where she goes more into detail and that kind of thing. But that's not the thing. So they're in a thunderstorm, okay? One, they're out in the orange grove, okay? And they are having like the lightning and the thunder, and because she's scared, she's like, we need to go to the shed. Now, just to give you guys an idea about the shed, okay, it's not like your typical kind of shed. It kind of is, but it kind of isn't. So in the shed is where they keep the smudge pots, okay? Now, if you don't know what smudge pots are, this is how they keep the orange trees warm during the freezing temps. And it looks like, well, there's different ways of how it could look, but it's like this, I've seen them like tall, like kind of tower things or whatever, and they'll have like oh gosh, like I'm having a brain fart, like oil in the little thing anyway, and they light it and it has like a fire, and that's how it keeps the trees warm during the freeze. Okay, so in the shed, going back to the shed, she has smudge pots. Okay, now in the shed there's also a bed and like a little studio kind of thing for like if they're working overnight, keeping the smudge pots going. This is where they can sleep. Okay, so again, they're out in the orange grove. It's thundering, it's lightning, it's pouring rain. They're on the UTV, and she's like, we got to get out of here. Let's go to the shed because that's the closest place. Okay, so in the shed, this is kind of where they have their, I guess, forced proximity. Not really the one bed kind of arrangement, but this is when they kind of get to know each other more on a personal level, not just physically. But this is where they talk about like their past a little bit. Now, obviously the MMC is not going to tell her everything, but he is going to tell her like, there's a reason why I, left. And he talks a little bit about the family, but doesn't give away too much. She just thinks like, okay, it's just a really kind of power hungry family kind of thing. Okay. This is when he makes his move because he feels that there's a mutual thing going on. So he makes his move. She reciprocates the move. And things get spicy. Okay. Now, if you read the first book about Tristan is very different with his spice. He's very much exploratory, which is why he likes the clubs. Okay, he's very much like, I'll try anything once, but there's certain things that I like. Okay, now his brother, which is the MMC in this book, is very different. He's very much a love-making kind of man. He's not really exploratory like Tristan is, like in that way where he's like, hey, let's, do some sharing or something like that. This brother is definitely not like that. He's very sensual and personal. So when you go from Tristan's spiciness, his just overall like scenes, and then you go to his brothers, it's like, wow, like a night and day difference. It's like, oh, he's so like kind, like, because that's, the differences. One brother's very much like, ooh, let's bring out the whips and stuff. And the other one's just like, I just want to hold you and go slow. So I will say that for Tristan's scenes, it was a little bit easier, but I think it's because I also wrote all of them before I had my son. So I had a lot of time and creativity there. Whereas when it comes to the brothers book that I'm working on, it's been slow. That, and when it comes to writing spicy scenes, I have to be in a certain kind of headspace to write them. I can't just randomly write them like I would any other scene. I have to have a mindset of, this is where we're going to go. And for the most part, I think I got that part. It's slow. It's soft. Because that's how the brother is. That's just how he is. When it comes to those scenes. But I'm just glad that it's kind of over. I'm not saying that like it was holding over my head, but it kind of felt like it, because when I'm writing and the scene's not done, I highlight so I know like, hey, this scene's not done. So I'm going through and I'm seeing the highlights. I'm like, okay, this scene's not done. This scene's need more, whatever. And that one's just kind of been sitting at me because it's been one of those scenes where like, again, I got to get in the right headspace to write it. But it's written and it's done and I'm feeling pretty good about it. Again, it's a very soft and emotional thing. So if you're kind of looking for like the hardcore, like Tristan, you're not going to find it with this brother. You're just not going to find it. If that's what you're after. I'm not saying that the MMC in this book's not worth reading. It is, but if you're looking for like the hardcore spice scenes, like I mean like where there's more than 2 people, you're not going to find it in this one. So just a heads up. Yeah. But it's done. That part is done. And I also wrote the epilogue. Well, I wrote half the epilogue. It's not done yet. I'm still working on that. But we have a direction of where it's going. And that's good. We're about halfway through with that. So I feel pretty good on the epilogue. I still have to add in some more parts throughout. But I think it's coming along nicely. Yes. So tune in next week. Maybe next week I'll give you guys more info on book 3. Book 3 this week has been very slow. I actually have not had any creative bursts with that one since he proposed, and I mean like half-ass proposed. I haven't had much of a creative burst for that one. So maybe next week I'll have it. But definitely book 2 this week, I had it. And we're doing good. So if you like hearing about my characters and what they're doing, click subscribe. Tune in every Sunday evening and find out which ones did what this week. And I'll see you guys next week.